Hi guys, we will start the unit number 3, Object-Oriented Programming. We will use Visual Basic 2010. Is available on the files that I upload on Microsoft Teams. You need to realize that is size about, I think, 2 gigabytes, so you need to be patient to download it. Okay, what is the object-oriented programming? It is a programming paradigm that uses objects and their interactions to design computer applications and programs. Okay, this is the new programming. Yeah. It is based on various techniques, including the inheritance, abstraction, polymorphisms, and encapsulation. We only see the essential for that. Okay, the essential that we will see is that properties, methods, and events is the most important part of a visual program. Okay. Visual program is based on the object-oriented programming. Okay, what is a properties? There are characteristics of an object, okay, such as color, position, size, name. Okay, remember, the properties describe an object. What is a method? It's a function that an object can do. Yeah. For example, exist, show, hide, and move. Okay. What is an event? An event is the most important part of a visual program. Why? Because that defines what is a object-oriented programming. Yeah. When you think in an event, you need to think when. Okay. So when you will calculate that multiplication, for example, when you calculate if you can vote, when you calculate if you have enough money for that transaction. I don't know. Yeah, this is the most important thing for the visual programming. Okay, this is the work environment. This is the interface of Visual Basic. It's very simple, very simple, but you need to know all the parts to understand where is each part. Okay. Okay. The data and data types. Okay. We will use that kind of data: the integer, double, maybe a string, or boolean. Yeah. This is the range of the values that can use in every kind of data. Yeah. We need to know the reserved words. What is a reserved word? Is a instruction that you need to use like instruction, not like a variable. Okay. Remember what is a variable? A variable is a space of the memory that you can store something. Yeah. Okay. Operators of Visual Basic. You need to know that basic use arithmetic operators, comparison operators, and concatenation operators. Okay. The arithmetic operators that you can use in Visual Basic. Okay. Sum, subtraction, multiplication, division, integral division, power. Okay. Is very similar to algorithm. Okay, the comparison operators, this is equal, less than, greater than, less than or equal, greater than or equal, and does not equal. Okay. The concatenation operators, you can use the plus or the ampersand. What is a concatenation? Is when you need to join, for example, values with a string or a text. Yeah. And logical operators and or and not. Yeah. We will use that in the future. Okay, you need to know that there exist two times to programming. The first one is the designing time. This is important because when you create a program in algorithm, you only type the code. You never design your program, only the input and the output. Yeah, but here you need to design a visual design of your program. Yeah, so exists that time, the design time. Okay, execution time is when your program is running. Yeah. Okay, what methodology you need to apply? Okay, you only need to associate elements. Yeah. For example, for the input you need to use text box, for the process a button, and the output a label. You can change the input for another control, the process for another control, and the output for another control, but when we start to create our programs, we will start with that. Okay, input text box, process button, and output label. Okay, this is the first example. Built-in Visual Basic application that calculates the sum of two numbers. The input data is number and number 2. Okay, this is the analysis. Yeah, the input number 1 and number 2. Process, remember you need to calculate that add, yeah, and store that result in that variable and show that result by the output. Okay, this is the structure of our program. Okay, now when you enter on Visual Basic, appears that, yeah, you can find basic, and you can find here your program. Now you need to choose new project and applications of Windows Forms, and this is the name, I don't know, exercise 1. Yeah, okay, and it takes a moment because basic is very powerful. Okay, this is our interface. To the left side, the toolbox, all the controls that you can use in your program will be here. The properties window, okay, the properties of the object that you select. For example, here I click on the form. This is the properties of the form. Yeah. Okay, and the Solution Explorer is right there. Here will appear all the windows that our program have. For example, here this is our first program. It have only one window. Yeah, and that buttons you can change between the code and the design mode. Okay, so now I will change the properties of my program. For example, here I will change the font because I want to use a big font. Yeah, and I will design first our program. Yeah. So remember the input use toolbox, text box. Sorry, text box. Okay. So text box and another text box. Yes. When you use the process number 1, number 2, process add is equals to number 1 plus number 2, and the output is add. So you need to use 2 text box for the input. Yeah, you have only one process, you need to use a bottom for that. Bottom is here. Yeah, it's a bottom, and the output you need to use a label here, non-link label. This is another, this is label. Okay, and I will use another labels to create a description. Yeah, for example, here I will use here select the label. So in the properties window, in the text property, you can change, for example here, number 1. Yeah, number 1, and here number 2, number 2. Yep, and this is the add. Yep, and I will use an X here for when you start the program. You only see the X, and the button here I will change the text to adding. Yeah, for example, this is our interface of a program. Yeah, is something like that. Yeah. Well, now the important here is when you calculate the adding of 2 numbers. This is very important because it's the event when you calculate that. It's very easy. We will use click on our button and select the button and double click on it, and appears that this is the even click of the button 1. So when happens that? When you click on the button 1. Okay, it's very important that you check your event. So now we need to decorate our variables that we will use. I will check the analysis. So we need to use 1, 2, and 3 variables. So you need to declare dim number 1, number 2, add space, and appears has, again in space, and we will use integer. Yeah, okay, this is our first program. So you need to read, remember the program need to read the number 1 and number 2 because you are using that variables in the input. So remember, you need to associate the text box 1 for the number 1 and the text box 2 for the number 2. So number 1 equals to text 1 dot text. When you use a control, yeah, put a dot in the code, appears the properties and the methods of that control. Yeah, for example, here I put the dot, and this is the properties, and this is a property, and this is a method. So I will use a property text. Okay, number 2 equals to textbox2 dot text. Okay, I am reading the numbers here. Why the property text? Well, if you check here, the property text, if you change the property, this is the reason that use the property text. Okay, I will erase that. Okay, so now second part, you need to calculate the process. Okay, this equals to number 1 plus number 2. Yep. So you need to show by the output, the heading. Yeah, where here, this is the place that you will show the result by a label. Okay, see, this is the name, label number 1. Yeah, so label 1 dot text, it's equal to F. Yeah, and this is all. This is all the program. It's very easy. You need to click on the play or running or execute. Yeah, and you need to type the number that you desire. I click on heading, and this is the heading. I don't know, another different numbers. So it's very easy. Yeah, to stop your program, there are 2 ways to stop the program. The first one is click on the X button to close, or in the stop button here. Yeah, it's the same. So your program are running until you close it. You know? And this is all about the program. Yeah, so you need to save your program. Here exists a button, yeah, that says save all. Okay, you need to choose where you save your program. For example, I don't know, the desktop. Yeah, create a folder for that solution. Yeah, and save. Yeah, if you check, this is your program and have so many files. So when you create a program, remember you need to use a full folder for that program. Yeah, if you have an error, what happened here? For example, one kind of mistakes that you make is, for example, that when you double click on another part that is not a button, for example here, this is another event, and you can type your code here. But the problem, when you run your program, the program have a problem. This is a mistake, an error for you. Yeah, because you are adding a number that doesn't exist. because here is empty. If you put here a text, for example, that, and play, the error doesn't happen. Why? Because you have something that you can add. Yeah, if you check, you don't need to click on the button to calculate the add, but it doesn't have sense because you need to type your data and the numbers that you want and click on the button to calculate. Yeah, so this is important here. You need to check that your program, your code are on the right event. Okay. Another error, for example, that you can do something like that. Yeah, this is the message. No, and appears the error. What kind of value text box cannot convert to integer. Yeah, so I don't know, you need only to check your program. Yeah, it's very easy to create a program in Visual Basic. So if you close Visual Basic, you need to open your program again. You need to get into the folder and on the Microsoft Visual Studio solution, double click on it, and you will open again your program. Yeah, well guys, this is all about the introduction of the Visual Basic. Well, now this is the first program that we create. You will create the number 2, exercise number 2, number 3, and number 4. What is about the number 2 is the subtraction of two numbers, number 3 multiplication of two numbers, and the number 4 are about division of two numbers. Okay, so guys, we'll see you